This is The Roadmap with Lee Heisman.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Roadmap, exclusively here on ASBN.com. I'm Lee Heisman, and every week we bring you some of the brightest entrepreneurs, CEOs, and business owners who are climbing the ladder, scaling their businesses, and thinking about one day how to exit stage left. Today, I have a very special guest that flew all the way in from New York City, Kelly Springer from Kelly's Choice.
Hi.
Kelly, CEO and founder of Kelly's Choice. Thank you for coming in and great seeing you today.
Thanks. Great to see you too.
So talk about Kelly's Choice. Just give a real quick overview of what do you do there at Kelly's Choice?
Well, it's a lot of different things, and that's not by choice. It was one of those that I started this business 12 years ago and kind of threw all balls up in the air, thinking that one direction would kind of take us, but all balls are still kind of going. So to explain that, we do private practice. So we have 50 dietitians nationwide that do medical nutrition therapy. We also have a workplace wellness platform that incorporates nutrition, sleep, exercise. It's fantastic for work sites. And then media. So I work with food companies from all over the US to help promote their brand and to understand why you should eat that food and why you would buy that at the grocery store.
Well, Kelly, I kind of knew all the answers to this before I asked you, but I want our audience to understand it. But that was a great elevator pitch, I would say. But I want our audience and listeners and viewers to really understand you and know you a little bit more. And talk about what prompted you to get into this.
So my dad is one of 12. And my dad's youngest sister was a dietitian, and I was her nanny. And I love that she could use her degree with her kids. And then she also was able to do really cool things like a grocery store dietitian, a diabetes dietitian. So she was always kind of changing and growing in the field. So I started right at 17 years old, getting into nutrition at West Virginia University. And it has fit me like a glove. So I am a dietitian. I also have my master's in health ed because I believe in the full spectrum of health. And every day I get to see how my education gets to help someone get healthier.
So I have had personal experience with you because one of my organizations many years ago started using your service. But I will tell you, it was worth every penny. And we spent money to utilize your service, all of you nutritionists, all of your expertise for our staff. And I say a lot of other businesses should do the same. However, these days things have changed with insurance and it's almost free. Is that right?
It is a very exciting time. So like I said, I've owned the business for 12 years. It's never been like it is today. So when we talk about coverage of our services, so United Healthcare, Cigna, Aetna, MVP, CDPHP, Blue Cross Blue Shield, now covers nutrition services. So that's on a one-to-one basis, but that's also for group services. So if a company wants us to do a courtesy benefits check of their insurance, we can do group presentations, webinars for their organizations covered by insurance.
So you're telling me if a company wanted to use the service for their staff, improve their wellness, their health, it could almost cost them nothing.
That's correct. And if you're self-insured, it may come back to you in the way of a claim, but we also have a program called Dietitian for the Day. They can hire us so it doesn't go through claims, but we can prove the ROI and reduce A1Cs, which is related to your diabetes, reduce blood pressure across the board, and weight. So that's going to reduce claims over time and truly prove the ROI.
So I've seen this evolution of your company, and getting to this is quite extraordinary. Talk about some other milestones along the way, because everybody might look at you today and say, well, look at the successful business, it's so easy, but you've hit many milestones along the way. I mean, you have so much staff now. Talk about the robustness of your company and what are some key milestones that you've achieved?
Well, it is interesting. So everything kind of changed in my life at the age of 30. I went through divorce.
So it just changed 2 years ago?
Exactly,
okay,
exactly.
Just making sure.
So I had a 5 and 3-year-old little girls, and I decided I needed to get divorced. But I was basically a stay-at-home mom. I was working part-time in bariatrics, and I had to get it together, right? So I was working 3 to 4 jobs to make sure I could get myself out. He told me that I would end up with nothing, and he was correct. I get $172 a week in child support, and that's still till today. And so for any of those females that are out there, I understand it. I am here, and I am proof that you can do it. But I had a drive. I truly had a drive, and my jumping off point was I was the registered dietitian for Wegmans Food Markets. And with Wegmans, I was hired for employee benefits, and I was able to show with the other dietitians on the team that we were able to drive down worker comp claims, drive down those claims because they were self-insured, And I said, listen, this is so cool. If they're doing it and hired me for this, how many companies could I get to nationwide? So it was about 10 years ago, I met this guy named Joe Marklin who said, Kelly, why don't you put this on video? Why don't you clone yourself and get it out there? So today we have over 250 videos. We have, like I said, nutrition education. We have chefs with us. We have exercise professionals. And it's just this whole combination of health to get this out to people to ease and access so everyone can get this education.
So for businesses and entrepreneurs out there that own businesses or organizations or corporations or even employees that are tight with their ownership to get your services in, talk a little bit about some of your success stories. And what I mean that is, what would a company or the whole culture of a company, how could it be affected by you and yours?
It's unbelievable of how we can change that culture, because I do also work with the food side. So if they have a cafeteria there, we can help review the menus. We can have a Kelly's Choice on the menu each week and work with, the Sodexos of the world or Airmarks or American Dining Creations. We can work with them and their chefs. So that's pretty cool to change the culture. Also maybe changing in their vending side, we can help with that as well. And then being able to give that access to the person that may have not had it. So when I talk about that, one of my aha moments was I was at Welch Allyn. And if you don't know what Welch Allyn is, it's pretty much the blood pressure cuff that's in every single doctor's office. It's right in my hometown, Skinny Atlas, New York. And I went in, it's a big manufacturing company, and I went in before I had the videos, and I was doing the lunch and learn for the skirts and suits, right? The manufacturing people were not allowed to come and leave to have this education. Well, one day, this lady came up to me with her hair bonnet on from the floor, and she said, I was just diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and I wasn't allowed to be in your class.
Wow.
And that was the day that I was like, this cannot happen.
Wow.
So now our services have 24/7 access across every single state, and we have dietitian licensure across every single state. And these people, any single person in that company can gain access, and their spouses. We do not charge extra for any spouses or dependents.
So, first off, I love everything you talk about. It's intriguing, and I get excited being with you. I do love the term skirts and suits. That was really funny. So not the warehouse or blue collar space, it's more the front office.
Yes.
And if you have a business out there and you are considering this and you have a blue collar, gray collar, white collar mixture, make sure you include everybody, not just the skirts and suits. I love that. That's really fun. So talk about this, Kelly, because again, you present wonderfully. You come off, you're a TV superstar. Again, I recommend to people to check you out on social media. But I want you to talk about the thing that most entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs want to know about is the challenges, right? You make it look so easy so people don't think it's that difficult. Give me some of the top challenges that you might have remembered along this journey.
Well, in the last couple years, I've seen the most difficulty because I was in growth mode. When it was just me and a few contract dietitians, it was going pretty well. It was when I decided to grow. So having eyes on everything was very hard for me. I definitely am a CEO. I am the shiny object. I love going towards the new thing. I love presenting, getting people inspired. But being able to look at every aspect of the company is still to this day very hard for me. So we had a couple shady characters. We had a couple dietitians take advantage of the system. We have a criminal lawsuit. We actually just won one. But now from learning about that, I have put parameters in place. So our dietitians now go through a 10.5 continuing ed credits on ethics, on training, on how to go about charting. So all the bad things that happened have led to even more successes. But definitely every day is like, did that just happen? So, I mean, it is kind of comical. We were laughing yesterday because it's like you're just laughing through the tears because you just kind of got to get through it. But I think having a really strong team, and by the way, we are fully woman-run and woman-owned. We don't have a single male with us.
Wait, in the company at
yes.
all? What a double standard. I have to say that.
I know, it's not by design. It's because dietitians, it's about 95 or almost higher percent of dietitians are females. And so that's kind of how it all came together. But we are woman-owned and woman-run, and it kind of is fun, I gotta say.
And I'm joking, it's perfectly fine. But I will share, and that's a great segue, because that was one of my questions. Being a man, I understand all the men privileges that I've had, and I don't see things directly through a woman's eyes, although I have 3 daughters and a wife. But talk about the guidance in health and nutrition you provide for women, CEOs, entrepreneurs, working women in a community. You talked about that earlier to me. Kind of share with the audience about, in a nice way, some of the things that maybe these clients of yours have differently than men.
Well, I have now lived multiple decades, right? So I am in my 40s, and what I experienced in my 20s was very different from what I'm experiencing now. And I remember back in my first job in my 20s and what I was experiencing and having bosses that were in their 40s and 50s. And none of that was really explained. And I didn't really know how to relate to my female colleague. And so today we put together an amazing presentation for all work sites, and it's women over the lifespan. And it does relate to even male colleagues as well, because everyone has a mother, they may have a wife, they have a daughter, they definitely have female colleagues. And understanding where they may be in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, what it looks like for perimenopause, menopausal women, this is a whole thing. And I'm glad I'm experiencing it because I counseled it for decades. I never understood it until I went through it. So now I'm here to educate, and it's not to be scared. We're really awesome. Women are the best. But we do have a lot going on internally, and we may have some deficiencies that we need to be working on, or maybe we need more time off because of having children, trying to get pregnant, going through these different stages. And so just learning about your female colleague, and I'm happy to get into work sites to explain this, but it's really an exciting presentation.
This is amazing. So much information. I knew this would be one of my favorite interviews because I can just hand you the ball and you run with it, which is extraordinary. Go back to one other topic as we wrap up here, because 15, 20 minutes goes by in the blink of an eye when you have fun. But talk a little bit about the military space, because when we were talking about that earlier, you said, I'm going to make a change. It was an amazing statement. You said, please elaborate on that.
Well, as you can tell, I'm just a little bit passionate about what I do. And I believe that everyone should have access to nutrition education. So we were talking earlier about how I drive a car every day, and I'm a very proficient driver, but I don't know how to maintain that car. I don't know how to do an oil change. So I go to an expert for that. And the same goes with nutrition. We're eating every single day, but we may not know how to maintain that body. And right now, military, let's talk about that. So we joined SAM.gov, we have our NICS codes, and I got involved with a couple different organizations to go down to DC and speak about this, to find out that military spouses and people that are currently in the military do not have this access. So anyone that has TRICARE has no coverage for nutrition education, and that needs to change. So I am here, go direct, whoever's listening, who's ever in the military, this should be a covered service. We should be able to get our military the access to nutrition education.
I mean, I'm giving you an applause, and I can hear it from people watching this as well. I love it. I love every initiative you have. So most importantly, as we wrap up, what's the next chapter for you? What's the next stage of Kelly's Choice?
I just want to speak. I want to speak. I want to inspire. I want to get into work sites and get them pumped up. So when I came and talked to one of your accounts, and I remember before I got there, you said, I don't know how engaged they'll be. They're mostly men. They're in the tech space. And what happened when I got there? We had everyone signing up. People were responding. We were having an interaction. And now is the time. It's the time. People are ready for it. They're seeing the results. I think the Ozempic craze with weight loss medications and the talk about nutrition is there. And we can get into that as well. I'm an expert in weight loss, and we have a book coming out in a month on the new weight loss era. So happy just to speak to any organization that wants me to help inspire their workforce, help change that culture, and bring education to everyone.
Wow. I'm speechless because you've taken all the words out of my mouth. This is wonderful, Kelly. So I do need you to look into the camera, and I need you to talk to our audience and say, how do people get in touch with you, get the book, just follow everything that you're doing?
So hello, everyone. You can go to kellyschoice.org. Right on the website, if you're interested in nutrition education, you can book today. Right there, you can put in your insurance information, you can put in what you want to talk about and what state you're in, and it will pair you with the correct dietitian for you. Plus, if you want to get in touch with us for worksite wellness, go to the contact page, put in your information. I will fly anywhere, and Lee knows this. I will go anywhere you want me to go. I will get on a plane tomorrow, and I will inspire and motivate your entire workforce.
Kelly, oh my gosh, what a treat. Magic, magic. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, first off, she will fly anywhere. She flew in today just for this show, which is wonderful, and I've seen her travel the world. So I do subscribe to Kelly's Choice, of course, and I subscribe that you're doing the same thing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope the show was insightful for you as it was for me. We hope to see you again next week on another episode of The Roadmap.
Thanks for watching The Roadmap with Lee Heisman.